Welcome to Trash Talk.
Welcome to another episode of Trash Talk. Today, talking with Dan Zimmerman, Director of Operations for the Landfill Group, on a bit of our operations, our philosophies, how we approach them, and hopefully we can have a little bit of fun with that.
I think so.
I mean, who doesn't want to talk about operations?
Operations is fun.
I mean, it's almost as sexy as like new development.
Maybe a little bit more, actually, if you think about it. Yeah, there's a lot more operating in that. You know what I mean?
You're the hammer swingers. You're the guys, keeping our plants operating.
All that stuff that all our other teams do, we operate. So when the A1 team goes and puts infrastructure into a well field, we operate it. When ABS and Jade design a facility, we operate it.
What do you mean you operate it?
We run it. We got to keep the facility going, right? You've got to manage the well fields. The well fields are a very touchy, very complicated sciencey thing.
What are you talking about? They're just holes in the landfill that you got vacuum on and it gives you gas.
Exactly. Can you turn his mic down? Turn that guy's mic down. What the heck he's talking about?
I mean, it's a bunch of machines in a building spinning around, whirring and making noises.
And it would be really easier if it were just that way, but we do. We have like all these complicated things going on. We've got operations team members that are very focused on their things, right? What their responsibilities are, whether it's well field or operating the facility. But at the same time, these are very small facilities, so there's only maybe 2-3 people at the facility, and they all got to learn everything. That's just kind of moving the parts and pushing the buttons and getting things going, which is really kind of the nuts and bolts of what operations does. But they can't operate alone. They have to operate with the support systems that keep us going. We have a direct line to the Jades and the ABS folks to get help and support when things break. A lot of what we do is try and get ahead of things that break. So we organize, we build manuals, we put together operations plans, and we try and hold ourselves to them as best that we can.
Is a day in an operator's life like wash, rinse, repeat, the same thing every day?
I think basically no. When I talk about how things go during the day, it's different all the time. So you have your standard, like, I got to get this done. And then you've got, today happened. And so today does happen. And a lot of that can be planned. So, you got to get better. So we work at trying to get in front of things instead of reacting to things. It isn't a simple day. It's not generally a quiet day. Hey, those are great days. We like those, keep things running. Keep the gas coming through the facility, keep it going out into the pipeline. That's really what we want to do. But there's a lot more to it. There's information gathering and sharing that's associated with compliance. There's support for the equipment. There's support for the guys.
There's a word I'm just waiting for you to use.
Come on, say it.
Safety.
Safety is coming, right?
I mean, it's inherently dangerous what we do. We're in operating landfills every day. We've got large electrical loads and gases and chemicals and explosion hazards. I mean, you start looking at what we do and being able to do that safely. I think it's probably one of the best feathers in the operations team cap that I could say. Like, how you guys manage that safety for our people, because it's not just our people. We want everybody to go home at the end of the day, right, and to be able to keep all those plates spinning and balls in the air. Far too often we get hung up on electrons getting put into a grid or molecules putting into a pipeline, and to be able to do that safely is an impressive thing for me.
It is the essential part of operations is safety. Compliance and safety make operations. So if you're not compliant, you're in trouble, and that's going to be an issue, right? And if somebody gets hurt, that's even worse. So operations is safety as much as it is compliance. And we have dedicated, focused people on that now. And where we may have really put a lot of our good focus on was getting established some base foundation programs, some things that we believe, paper doesn't make you safe. But it's what you do that makes you safe. And so creating... Wait,
you gave me a safety policy. I thought I was pretty safe.
It will not protect you. Watch. No? Hold on to it.
Oh, here.
It does not protect you. But it can help give you the guidelines And, you know, and sometimes it's a struggle, folks. There's no doubt about it. It seems like sometimes there's just a simpler path to just do this. And that's where we get kind of boggled up is where we think that something is okay or safe. It may very well not be. And it could be just one small variable that changed that condition. So yeah, safety is very much a part of operations, just as much as compliance is. We've got to process all this information. So as soon as one molecule of gas comes through that plant, we need to be able to say where it goes. I can't let it go off into the environment. It's got to be processed in one way or the other. Processing data, moving information around, supporting operations. They're just at the keyboards, just making things happen. And a cohesive team is what the ultimate goal is to have that kind of support happen without slowing the process and the momentum down of the operation. So it can be done, it will be done, and it's what we're doing.
It's an interesting dance, right? I think all of us in our own little worlds trying to assign priorities to things that are important to us, right? You know, in the operations world, ultimately our revenue source is driven by creating an energy, right? Depending on who you talk to or ask, they'll say, well, that's the most important thing. Or, you know, safety is the most important thing to the next person, or compliance is the most important thing for, you know, environmental reasons or regulatory reasons. Compliance is the most important thing. And I think really going back to the belief triangle again is like, okay, you have to use that tool to slow yourself down and say, they're all equally important. It's the proverbial three-legged stool, right? Without one leg, it falls down. So you have to have all three of those wrapped into the mindset of an operations team. I applaud your team for what they do and how they approach the importance of all of those things.
A lot of it's education, right? A lot of it's just spending time talking about something that someone may not have ever been exposed to before. So getting ahead of that is kind of where the plan is. We'd like to get ahead of it. You got to educate people and you got to help them. And you sometimes got to shadow and just guide and maybe show them. You've got programs that you can utilize for everything, you know, daily reports and efficiency calculations and all sorts of cool operation stuff. Connected, of course, in with the safety tools that we utilize. And we use a lot of really cool, interesting tools. In fact, just recently, we purchased an instrument that identifies leaks by sound, which seems kind of weird. But if you think about it, if you've got a methane analyzer and you're looking for methane, you're only going to find methane. So if you're looking for a leak, it'll make a noise. And it's really a fantastic tool. And you say, well, what do you need something like that for? Well, you don't. But a cool safety thing, works. Right? A cool safety thing, but yet an efficiency thing too, right? We're finding air leaks, right? We're finding things that aren't tightened up. And tightened up meaning like, you know, just has a small leak or something that we wouldn't have normally noticed. But now we're looking into the granularity of what we do, and we're trying to use the proper tools to do that. And I think, you know, the black line units, we have these quad gas meters that the guys will wear. And if they fall, it'll send an alarm to a control center that calls me and tells me that my guy's down.
Yeah, it's just you think about it. This isn't a 9-to-5 job.
No.
I can guarantee you the days and nights that a plant will break down. Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, New Year's, Easter, your son's birthday,
and spring break.
4th of July. You know, yeah. Operations is
it's a challenging job.
And do well.
Yeah. You stand out in the middle of a well field in the middle of the night, and you realize there are no lights around. It is as dark can be. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of risks associated with it. So we really try and focus on making sure that our team members are aware of those risks and they're able to formulate their own beliefs on those risks to make sure that they're utilizing the proper activities and tools to get home safe. And really that get home safe thing is kind of real. Everybody says it, but we really mean it. I mean, it's not good when people get hurt.
I kind of took us down a safety path there. I thought it was an important one to take.
No, it is, of course.
But maybe just walk through a bit on like our philosophies and approach to a few things. And where I'm going with that is our approach that, you know, it's not a well field and a plant. Like the gas collection system or the well field, as we view it, is a part of our facility, our processing facility, whatever it is. So maybe, talk briefly or high level on like what that approach looks like.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we have all these partners, right? So we have business partners, we have landfill partners, and we operate on their property, right? So we have a lot of
There's a ton of moving pieces.
lot of moving pieces to it, right?
But a lot of contracts, a lot of things that you have to do.
From an operations perspective, it's just kind of easy to go right to compliance, right? Because for me, when the well field that's owned by the landfill is having troubles, then we're having troubles, right? So we have to look at that holistically as you may own it, we're taking care of it, and we're taking care of you, and you're our partner. Yeah.
We're a nanny. We're a steward.
Yeah, we're here, man. We're going to work through these issues.
Without that landfill, we don't have a job to do.
Right.
And I think that's really where I was going with that question. Is we look at it all as one. And if you try and say this is the one most important thing, I mean, I've got a thought what it is and what we do. What would you say your thought is on it?
The most important thing in operations
that we do. Yeah.
Oh, well, to me, these parts don't run themselves. It's definitely the team that runs it. So it's the entire team. It's one team. That's where we're pretty badass.
Yeah. So you say one team, and one team being, we've got a one team slogan or campaign within the Landfill Group, but it really extends outside of our company. So if we're at one of our partner or host landfills, they're part of that team, and we need to be stewards of their resources the same as we are, and ultimately their compliance. If they don't have a landfill, we don't have work. We can't really produce energy from a landfill that's not there. So yeah, thanks for saying one team.
It is, though. I mean, it's just another one of those got to go home safe every day. One team is really the functional kind of glue for all the parts in this stuff.
I truly believe that our organization has figured out a recipe that it just works. It might not be the flashiest all the time. I think that's what makes us who we are. And we don't want the glitz and glamour. Thanks for hanging out with Zimmerman and I today on the latest episode of Trash Talk. If you like what you hear, visit us at landfillgroup.com. Appreciate you taking the time to listen to us.